Hello savvy learners, today we dive into the world of Python, a simple yet powerful programming language. Python is an excellent starting point for anyone looking to dip their toes into coding. Its straightforward syntax and readability make it a favorite among beginners. But don't be fooled by its simplicity. Python is a versatile language, widely used in various fields such as web development, data analysis, machine learning, and more. Now, are you ready to discover Python? Let's get started. Python is a language loved by many, from students to professionals. A key player in the world of coding, Python is renowned for its simplicity, making it an ideal starting point for newcomers to programming. But don't let its simplicity fool you. Python is a heavyweight contender, holding its own in diverse fields. Think about data analysis. Python's powerful libraries like pandas and NumPy make crunching numbers a breeze. Or consider web development. With frameworks like Django and Flask, you can create sophisticated web applications. And let's not forget about artificial intelligence. Python's TensorFlow and PyTorch libraries are leading the AI revolution. Python's popularity is not a fluke. It's the second most loved programming language and the first one most wanted to learn, according to Stack Overflow's 2023 survey. With a vibrant community and a rich ecosystem of libraries and frameworks, Python opens doors to a multitude of career paths. With Python, the possibilities are endless. First things first, we need to install Python on your machine. This might seem daunting, but fear not. Python's installation process is as simple as it gets. No matter the operating system you're using, let's start with Windows. Head over to Python's official website, download the latest version and run the installer. Make sure to tick the box that says Add Python to Path during installation. This will make your life much easier later on. For macOS, the process is equally straightforward. Open your terminal, type brew install Python, and let your machine do the rest. If you don't have Homebrew installed, no worries. You can also download the installer from Python's website, just like on Windows. As for Linux users, Python is likely already installed. But to be sure, open your terminal and type Python version. If it's not, type sudo apt-get install python 3. And voila! Python is now ready for us to explore. Now that Python is installed, let's write our first program. Welcome to the world of programming, where the classic way to get started is with a simple Hello World script. It's a tradition as old as programming itself, and it's the perfect way to dip our toes into the calm and clear waters of Python. So how do we say Hello World in Python? It's as simple as writing print Hello World. That's it, just one line of code, and you've written your first Python program. The word print is a function that Python provides us to display text on the screen. The words Hello World are a string, which is a sequence of characters enclosed in quotes. What's so special about this? Well, it's the simplicity of Python that's truly amazing. In some other languages, even a simple task like this could require several lines of code. But Python keeps it neat and tidy. This simplicity is one of the reasons why Python is such a great language for beginners. This first step, as small as it may seem, is actually a big leap into the world of programming. You've written a command that the computer understands and responds to. You've started speaking the language of the machines, and that's no small feat. So, pat yourself on the back, you've done great. Congratulations on writing your first Python program. Let's understand the building blocks of any program: variables and data types. In every programming language, variables are like containers where you can store different types of data. They're like boxes that you can fill with whatever you want, be it a piece of string, a number, or even another box. In Python, declaring a variable is as simple as giving it a name and assigning it a value. For example, my variable equals sign 10. Here, my variable is the name of the variable, and 10 is the value it holds. Now, let's talk about data types. In Python, we primarily deal with three basic data types: integers, floats, and strings. Integers are whole numbers without a decimal point like 1, 2, 3, and so on. For instance, My integer equals sign 10. Here, my integer is a variable storing an integer value, 10. Floats, on the other hand, are numbers with a decimal point. They can represent real numbers, such as 3.14159 or 0.01. An example would be my float equals sign 10.5, where my float is a variable storing a float value, 10.5. The third basic data type is a string. Strings are sequences of characters enclosed in either single or double quotation marks. It could be a single character, a word, or a whole sentence. For example, my string equals sign hello world, where my string is a variable storing a string value hello world. It's also essential to remember that Python is dynamically typed. This means you can change the type of data a variable holds even after it's been set. So, my variable could be an integer at first and later become a string or a float. Python is flexible like that. In conclusion, variables and data types are the essence of Python and indeed any programming language. They're the fundamental elements you'll use to store, manipulate, and work with data throughout your programming journey. Understanding these basic data types is crucial in Python programming. Next up, how do we interact with users in Python? Engaging with users is a key part of any program, and Python makes this process quite simple. Let's start with taking user input. Python provides a built-in function called input for this. When you call this function, it waits for the user to type some input and press enter. Here's a quick example. Imagine you're writing a program that greets a user by their name. You'd use the input function like this: name equal sign input. What's your name? Now, whatever the user types in response to what's your name will be stored in the name variable. Now, let's move on to the output. To display information to a user, Python provides another built-in function called print. The print function in Python is used to display output on the console. You can print text, variables, or even the results of mathematical operations. For instance, if you want to print hello world, you'd write print hello world. And voila, hello world gets printed on your screen. So if we combine the input and print functions, you can create a simple interactive program. For example, after asking for the user's name, you can greet them personally by saying print hello plus name. This will display hello followed by whatever name the user entered. And there you have it. Now you can interact with your users. Ask for input and display outputs. Isn't Python wonderfully straightforward? Let's venture into the world of decision-making with conditional statements. These are the backbone of any programming language, and Python is no exception. They allow our programs to make decisions based on certain conditions, thus adding a level of interactivity and intelligence. Imagine you're writing a program which, based on the temperature entered by the user, decides whether it's a good day for a picnic. This is where the if statement comes into play. The if statement in Python is written with the keyword if, followed by a condition and then a colon. After the colon, we write our code that will execute if the condition is true. For instance, if the temperature is above 20 degrees, our program might print, "It's a lovely day for a picnic," and there you have it. With if statements, you can now make your programs more interactive and intelligent. Now, let's make our programs smarter and more efficient with loops. Loops, as the name suggests, allow us to repeat a block of code multiple times without having to write the same lines over and over again. Think of them as a merry-go-round of code, going round and round until it's time to stop. Python offers two types of loops, for and while. A for loop is like saying, for each item in this list, do this task. It's great when we know how many times we want to loop. On the other hand, a while loop keeps going while a certain condition is true. It's your go-to when you're not sure how many loops you'll need. Let's imagine we want to print hello world 10 times. With a for loop, it's a breeze. And if we want to keep printing hello world until we're out of ink, that's where a while loop comes in handy. Loops help us perform repetitive tasks efficiently, a key aspect of programming. Well done! You've taken your first steps into the world of Python. We've dipped our toes into the basics, from installing Python, writing our first Hello World program, to exploring variables, data types, input, output, and even conditional statements and loops. Now, it's your turn to dive deeper. Practice these concepts, and when you're ready, venture into more advanced topics. Thank you for joining this Python journey. Remember to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Keep coding, keep learning,